My project was on body image shaming in our media, and how propaganda and bias affects body image and self-esteem issues in developing adults. So body image shaming in our media. The media is full of propaganda. What I found is to be some of the more devastating and dehumanizing propaganda that we see all over social media and in the news is the constant attack on the female figure, whether it's somebody being too skinny or somebody being too fat, too curvy. Body image shaming is everywhere, and then it leads to eating disorders, suicides, and depression. What is propaganda? So, propaganda is any information, especially information that's biased or misleading, and it's used to promote a particular view. Typically, the view is negative, and it can lead to further problems. What is body shaming? I included some really good articles here. One is body shaming. What is it and why do we do it? It kind of helps people self reflect on, you know, why are we constantly looking for imperfections and flaws, and why are we conditioned to focus on the negative rather than positive attributes of beauty? This is a article from a magazine that I found. The second is a podcast from SoundCloud, and it's actually battling body shaming on Instagram. It focuses on the hashtag curvy and what images are attributed to being hashtag curvy. Some of these women have been ridiculed on Instagram. Some of them are praised. It looks at the demographic of what type of men are promoting curvy women, which ones are shaming curvy women. So it's just a really interesting podcast that kind of breaks down the demographics and body shaming on Instagram. Facts versus fiction. First, I wanted to analyze the facts because the normal and average women's weight has changed drastically in the last few decades. And a lot of our information and charts, BMI charts, charts from doctors, information has not really changed much since the 50s and 60s. So, first, analyzing the facts. What is the normal female weight in our country? What do most of our women look like? And what is the average dress size or BMI? So this is a BMI chart. Now notice this is the BMI chart that is just standard used across the country, across the world. They're posted in kids' health classes, PE classes, and they outline what you should weigh, what's considered underweight, what's considered healthy, overweight, obese, etc. Now notice this has not really changed much since the 50s or the 60s. The BMI chart shows what women should weigh in order to be in the correct body mass index or BMI range. I'm 5'4" and I weigh 130, which puts me at a 23 BMI, which is considered healthy. At being only 130, I'm only a point or two away from being considered overweight. If I was going off of this BMI chart, which means that if I hit about 136 to 138 pounds, which would be about 6 to 7 more pounds than I am now, technically I would be considered overweight. Last year I weighed about 155. I would have been borderline overweight and obese. According to the BMI chart. And this is what we're teaching our kids in school to go off of. They also don't take into any consideration muscle mass index. Muscle tends to weigh more than fat. If you're an athletic student, if you're an athletic kid in school, you may be looking at your BMI and you may technically be considered overweight when really, in fact, you're just athletic. So there are a lot of changes that need to be done to these sorts of charts and things that we're promoting to our kids. When we're talking about healthy weight. The average U.S. woman is a size 16, not 14, studies finds. This is a great article by Today, and it really kind of outlines where the disconnect is, that the average U.S. woman is a size 16. Now, just to kind of put that into perspective, Walmart, the leading retailer chain, considers a size 14 and up to be plus size. So even though the average woman is a size 16 in America, that would be considered plus size. Many stores in America do not even carry a size 16. I know if you were to go into any of the popular, young stores, Forever 21, H&M, Charlotte Russe, Wet Seal, any of those, they don't carry size 16s. So if you're a woman and you're in this category of size, you would have to shop exclusively at a plus size store, or your clothes online, because you wouldn't be able to go to a store to find clothes that really fit you. Now, again, this is really damaging. I kind of gave like an anecdotal story here. What if you were like a girl that was going to look for like a dress and you went into some of these stores and you couldn't even find one that's in your size, even though, that is considered an average size. The second thing I outlined here is that women's sizes vary much more than men's sizes. I know if a man's going to look for pants, they have a width of their waist and a length of their legs, and that's their pants. So if they're a 36 on the waist, then they're 36, and they can go to most stores and most 36s will fit them. There's not that much variation in their jeans. I can go into a store and fit into a size 3. I can go into a store and fit into a size 9. There's not one store where I can go and just pick a size pants. I have to, if I like a pair of jeans, I have to go pick it in a 1, a 3, a 5, a 7, a 9, and maybe even an 11. I have to maybe try on 8 different sizes, just to find the one pair of pants that fit me, because sizes vary so much for women. The next thing that I included here is this is a YouTube clip. Demetria Oblivor has made headlines recently for being an African American TV anchor on Channel 8 News. This is another state, I believe it's in Texas. She was body shamed immediately for being the news anchor. Typically, news anchors, especially in the South, in those southern states, tend to be female, white, blonde, and very skinny. You can see this on many news television stations. So the fact that this was an African American woman, and that she was curvy, she got a lot of ridicule for this, and she was body shamed all over social media. So this is kind of her confronting body shaming and her clapback video to that. My next headline is: this an American problem or a global problem? From my research, I couldn't isolate this to just being an American problem, but I can isolate this to kind of being in that Western world problem. Many countries that tend to see like a fashion industry, the UK, France, Italy, they tend to have the same types of views that women should be very thin. Um, I also have a friend that kind of use another anecdotal story here. She models. She's been in Vogue. She's in Times Square in New York. She's done ads for Sephora. She's doing very well in the modeling industry. And she literally never eats. Like, she can't eat. She may consume 1,000 calories a day. And, she's outlined how just strict this whole world is in the fashion industry when it comes to what sizes women should be. So on a positive note, what types of messages promote acceptance and kind of counterbalance this body shaming? Big names like Dove and other companies are coming together to boost self-esteem and promote awareness of body shaming. A lot of women are exclusively buying products from these companies now, because they're showing what makes a woman valuable, beautiful, and worthy are the attributes she brings to the table aside from her physical appearance. So things like intelligence and things like, being a good mother, being a good wife. You can see these things are focused on in their ad campaigns, and they really try to do away with the shell of outer beauty being everything that makes a woman attractive. So those types of messages are becoming a little more popular now too, that we're seeing in social media, to kind of offer another side to the body shaming negativity that we see. So that was my project. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope that we can move away from body shaming and into being a little bit more